Bagan, in many respects, is the most remarkable religious city in the world. Jerusalem, Rome, Benares, none of them can boast the multitude of temples, the lavishness of designs and ornaments like Bagan. Bagan stood as a landmark of an era in the history of Myanmar. The inception of Myanmar history, the origin of Myanmar literature, the source of Myanmar culture and the genesis of Myanmar Theravada religion, which is free from impurities, came about here in Bagan. Bagan era lasted more than 1,300 years. After Sasana year 650 to 1st AD, King Tamurit founded Bagan and the dynasty came to an end about 1,300 Sasana era. Although it is assumed that the dynasty of Bagan has lasted more than 1,300 years. About 900 years before the reign of King Anoyata, who ascended the throne in 1044 AD, was a history of legends. Whatever said, Bagan is indeed the soul of Myanmar. Bagan is the mirror that displays the grace and glory of Myanmar. Bagan is aged more than 2,000 years. Hence, the ancient city is referred to as a place abundant with venerable and enraptured things. Indeed, Bagan, according to the historical evidences, is the beginning of the first Myanmar Empire, and there should not be any doubt that it was the capital of all Myanmar. As it was the ancient capital of old Myanmar, pagodas, stupas, shrines, monasteries, and tiered buildings are omnipresent. Bagan is Myanmar, and Myanmar, Bagan. Bagan is on the eastern bank of Irrawaddy in central region of Myanmar. Ancient buildings are everywhere throughout the whole plain in various shapes with different sizes. They number more than 2,000. And according to the official records of ancient pagodas and shrines of the archaeological department, the exact figure is 2,217. Although there are lots of pagodas, one shrine differs from another and was built in different styles. The bounteous spectacle of pagodas in this ancient capital, where several Myanmar kings once reigned, certainly exudes the unparalleled religious zeal of the people of Bagan. The huge shrines are said to be usually built by kings. Studies show that pagodas of moderate sizes were usually built by high officials of Myanmar court, and the smaller pagodas were built by rich persons and laymen. Covered over with numerous edifices, almost exclusively religious, Bagan even today impresses the visitors of the grandeur. The impressive pagoda complexes were designed to be a paradise on earth, a place that lay between earth and the realm of the gods. A visit to the present-day Bagan, particularly for the first time, cannot but give a philosophical touch to one's thoughts. A phenomenon as this is but a natural course, particularly given to the observation of facts with an understanding heart. In Myanmar, villages generally have one or at the most two pagodas. The towns and cities are certainly found adorned with numerous Buddhist shrines. No matter who the builders, donors or supporters of these shrines are, these places of worship are open to public without distinction of creed or religion, race or nationality. The Buddhist building of pagodas are led by certain sentiments. Of these, 4 types merit special attention. One of the sentiments is that to build a pagoda is an act of great religious merit to the person or persons concerned. The merit specs elevation to better life in the hereafter or elevation to some heavenly abode or even unto nirvana. Of course, these persons at times may even declare sharing merit with others. The sentiments of earning merit are quite strong amongst Buddhists. This naturally inspires an average Buddhist to aspire to do his or her best to be able to build a shrine, if not in this life, at least in the hereafter. Obviously, there is a spiritual satisfaction in doing this. Moreover, the building of a pagoda entitles the builder to be hailed as an honorable gentleman or honorable lady. This indeed is a coveted title spelling not only spiritual satisfaction but also social distinction. Another sentiment includes the building of pagodas with the interest of enabling others to use these for religious worship and for the practice of Buddhism. This practice is said to raise the person ethically, mentally and spiritually, and finally leading him to nirvana. Thirdly, it is said that the building of pagodas will help ensure the preservation and the perpetuation of the religion. And the fourth sentiment, though variably present, is the craving generally hidden behind the manifest religious zeal for public applause and social gains. Sentiments apart, there is another reason which occasioned the rise of numerous pagodas in Bagan. That is, the surplus capital which people enjoyed, with Bagan rising to dignity of an all-Myanmar capital for the first time in the history of the land. The people of Bagan considered it the better of wisdom to invest in the building of pagodas in their gratitude to the religion of the Buddha, which had accomplished the miracle of uniting them into a homogeneous whole. A monument that acquired cosmic symbolism of Buddhahood, containing Buddha-associated relics. A bell-shaped brick structure set on a square or octagonal base and usually rising to a gently tapering peak gilded structure. It is then topped with a sacred parasol-shaped decoration called tea and embossed with a precious jewel. Amongst the various reasons of national, communal and political sentiments, the building of pagodas multiplied from age to age, from generation to generation. Though most of these pagodas in Bagan were built by kings to commemorate their successors' contribution or to satisfy their religious whims. Some, of course, are decidedly with positive historical bearings on the national prestige. Bagan was known to be the seat of the Myanmar dynasty. Tradition carried by the local chronicles has it that a long line of 55 kings ruled over this kingdom during the 12th centuries. Bagan was the capital for 2.5 centuries when the Myanmar Empire reached the zenith of its power. It was here that Myanmar's art and architecture passed through a golden age. Recorded history of the dynasty begins with the accession of Anoyatha AD 1044 to 1077, in whose reign Bagan rose to preeminence.